That was me, every night for many, many years. Ice cream, Cheez-Its, Skittles, bioengineered snacks almost every day. I never thought twice about what I was putting into my body. It was just food, right? I didn't even realize I was unfocused or always seemingly hungry. But in reality, I was a victim of the broken American food system. The industry built on cheap, processed ingredients that prioritizes profit over health. They push foods loaded with additives and then call them healthy or natural. It's no accident. It's all by design. And I thought it was normal. Changing my ways felt overwhelming. These ingredients were in everything, and it seemed impossible and so expensive to eliminate them. At first I ignored it, but then last summer I just went all in one day. Swapped out the junk for real, whole foods. Learned how to cook differently, how to shop smarter, and how to fuel my body the right way. I wasn't just changing what I ate, I was changing how I lived. This isn't a diet, it's not a trend, it's just eating the way we were meant to as humans. People are waking up and demanding better. More awareness is spreading, and the movement for real food is only growing. Today, I can't imagine living any other way. And with that, welcome to another video. As you can tell by the beginning, I've been making some significant changes to the foods that I consume. I feel like so much has happened in the last year, and I've learned just a staggering amount of things related to food and health. And there is this tidal wave of awareness going on right now in the United States with how broken the American food system is. When you really dive into it, it is shocking how bad it has gotten. But I feel like we're finally starting to see some change. And actually today, as I'm recording this, RFK Jr. was just confirmed as the HHS Secretary, which is a huge step in the right direction for this country. So I don't want to go too far into the political side of things, but I'm not afraid to share my opinions. In this video, I want to demonstrate how I've eliminated seed oils and processed foods from my life. I feel like I've learned so much valuable information over the past year, and I want to show you how you can also achieve this in your own kitchen. It's not as hard as you might think, and it's not expensive as you might expect. But I have a lot of tips and tricks I want to show, and I'm going to walk you through what I do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and how I focus on simple, whole food meals that don't involve a ton of ingredients. But before we get into that, I have to go get the food from the store, but I'm not going to bore you with going to each and every store around here. So I'm just gonna make a quick graph. First, starting with Aldi, I get all my meat here. Chicken, beef, turkey, it's super cheap. Then at Acme or just your conventional store, I'll typically get my produce, organic produce, and then sometimes various other things. And then at Whole Foods, I get usually my dairy, so yogurt, milk sometimes, and then cheeses. Wegmans has some really good unique options as well. So depending on whether I'm in Maryland or Pennsylvania, I'll go to any one of those stores and try to limit the grocery store runs as much as possible, although I do feel like I spend quite a lot of time in the stores, but I enjoy it. Before I dive into the specific recipes, I want to show you what I used to cook with. So this is the good stuff right here. No, I'm just kidding. These are like the devil, seed oils. I'm talking about canola oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. They're so highly inflammatory and harmful to your body. For example, vegetable oil is not vegetable oil, it's just soybean oil, marketed as vegetable oil to make it more appealing, I guess. And then canola oil is effectively motor lubricant that has gone through a crazy chemical process to make it edible. More and more studies are coming out showing the harmful effects of these oils. If you look here at this graph, with the use of seed oils over the last 100 years, it lines up perfectly to the chronic disease rates and the obesity rates in the United States. So these belong in the trash. You only need 4 things to cook with: olive oil, beef tallow, grass-fed butter, and coconut oil. You have to be a little careful with each and how you plan to use them. So like olive oil, I wouldn't go crazy like searing meats. It will damage the oil. So for higher temperatures, I would use beef tallow, maybe coconut oil or butter. And then if you're going lower temperature, it's safe to use olive oil, or if you're putting this over like a salad. I tend to use butter and beef tallow the most for cooking. I'll do eggs in butter, I'll do meat in beef tallow. Coconut oil is great for vegetables. It brings a lot of flavor. This is all you need. With that being said, let's get into my recipes. This will give you some great ideas on what you can do. The best meal of the day, breakfast. This is one of two options that I have and usually make, but we just have organic quinoa, organic apples, and cinnamon. It sounds like a weird combination, but hear me out, it's fantastic. So to start, we're just gonna rinse these apples and chop them up. Then we'll add a cup of water to this pot here, and then half a cup of quinoa. And you can just pour it right into the cold water. Now we'll turn the heat on, and then add the apples on top of the quinoa. And this should make 2 to 3 servings. And then we just let that sit on low heat for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Now while that's going, I'm gonna make up some eggs. I have eggs every single day. I'll eat these first. I'll just have 2 or 3 eggs cooked in grass-fed butter, and I just like them over easy. I also like to have about a cup and a half of coffee, but I always drink water first thing and work out before having coffee. So I'm up for at least about an hour, hour and a half before I even have this coffee, which is, I think, a good thing. 3 eggs over easy, real simple, a lot of good protein, especially after a workout. Okay, so this is pretty much there. This is where I'm gonna just add a touch of the cinnamon. Now we'll take this and just scoop a little bit into our bowl. So this is where it gets fun. You can add any toppings you want. So I like to do 1 banana, and then I'm gonna crush up some pecans. And then finally 1 spoonful of yogurt. And that's it. This is maybe one of the most underrated breakfasts that I've been able to create. So much protein and flavor in that, and just an awesome way to kickstart your day and make you feeling full for a very long time, which is key. So don't hate on it until you try, but that's my first breakfast option. Let's move on to the second one. I'm back for my second breakfast option. I'm doing oat pancakes. I have been eating these for legit the last 3 years. They've been a staple in my everyday breakfast, but minimal ingredients. I just use organic rolled oats, a little bit of organic all-purpose flour. You can also just grind these up to make oat flour. A little bit of yogurt, 1 cup of water, 1 egg, and cinnamon. So to start out, I'm just taking 1 cup of these oats and then 1 cup of water. And we're just gonna let that soak for 10 to 15 minutes. All right, that's soaked. Now, I just eyeball the flour, not too much, maybe like half a cup. And then just a spoonful of yogurt. Sometimes I make this without the yogurt. 1 egg. And cinnamon. And then we'll just stir that up. So you can cook this 2 different ways. The first is using a stainless steel skillet. However, this does take a while. This is the biggest one that I have, so we'd be here for a little while. The second way, and the way I'm gonna show you, is by baking this actually. So we're just using a cookie sheet and then parchment paper, which is non-bleached and chlorine free. Oh yeah, preheat the oven to 375 when you go to put the oats into the water. So we'll just make roughly 8 pancakes. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. We'll take these out and give them a flip. So we'll just throw those back in for another 5 minutes. All right, these are done, so we'll pull them out and plate them. So I have 2 pancakes, and I top it with peanut butter, a banana, pecans, and raw honey. So this is my breakfast of the last several years. Very, very cost effective. It tastes great. I'll just drizzle some of this honey on top, and yeah, it's a great way to start the morning. On to lunch. I don't have much for this, as all of the dinner recipes that I'm making, I'll make extra and have the leftovers for that for most of my lunches. However, if I'm ever in a pinch or I don't have enough, I have a few options. The first are these meat sticks right here. These are from Paleo Valley. They are great. 100% grass-fed and finished, all clean ingredients. Another good company is Chomps. Clean ingredients as well on those. These are 6 grams of protein. The Chomps are 10. So just pack a couple of these and you're good to go. And then I'll bring like a bag of nuts. These are Brazil nuts. I'll have cashews, pecans, walnuts, and just a great way to sort of tie you over until you can get a more substantial meal. Sometimes too, I'll have this and then an afternoon snack, which is where I'll transition to next. Now this video wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention fruit. I love fruit. There are so many nutrients in all kinds of fruit. So after lunch and dinner, I almost always have it. But typically in the morning, I'll have bananas and apples usually. After lunch, I'll have a mango or an orange. Afternoon snack, kiwis. Sometimes I'll throw in some berries, strawberry, blueberry, raspberries. And then after dinner, I usually like to have like cantaloupe, honeydew melon, or pineapple. That's kind of the way I eat my fruit, but it is so good, so flavorful and natural. I'll try to always buy organic when I can, although I'm not perfect, but as long as you're getting it in, getting those nutrients, you can never go wrong. It's about 3:30. Let's put together my snack. I'm going with a yogurt bowl. This is what I usually do. Sometimes I'll go with a rice cake with peanut butter, pecans, and honey on top, but this is my go-to one. So we have Greek yogurt. This is clean ingredients, high protein, a kiwi, raw honey, and pecans. You can pretty much guess what I'm gonna do. Here you have it, my nice yogurt bowl full of a ton of protein, nutrients, and flavor. You can get creative with these, put whatever fruit in here, spice it up however you like. This is what I've been doing, so just a good, simple idea for an afternoon snack to get you through. I have one more thing, though I do usually before dinner, so we'll keep this video moving. Moving on, it's about 5 o'clock. This is where I like to make up some tea. I've been doing this for the last month or 2 now. This tea is very beneficial, tastes amazing. Let me get out the ingredients. First, an organic lemon, ginger root, turmeric spice, and cinnamon. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit of this off, about that much. And then I usually use about roughly an inch of ginger, so something like that. And then slice that into some small pieces. I'll use roughly 2 cups of water. And I'll squeeze in a lemon, throw this ginger in, and then just a touch of cinnamon and a touch of turmeric. That's pretty much it. This is super, super beneficial. All 4 of those ingredients have their benefits for humans, especially the ginger and the turmeric. These are really anti-inflammatory. Takes about 15-20 minutes to heat up, and then we'll be ready to pour a cup. Tell you what, if you get a day like this in the winter, the sun coming in, this is like the best time of the day. The house smells incredible. So I just have a mug and then one of these strainers. And I just take this and pour it right over top. So now I just put my feet up, get a little work done, and enjoy this nice cup of highly beneficial tea. Tastes amazing. So I'll do this pretty much every single day. Real quick and easy. All right. Moving on to dinner. Starting out our first recipe with ground beef. I'm making tacos, which might sound simple, but I'm gonna show you a way to make it even more simple. I'm making my own tortillas, kind of like I did over the summer. The ones you can buy in the store are just full of junk and preservatives, and then the ones that aren't are really expensive. So for these ones, I'm gonna try using sweet potatoes, organic all-purpose flour, and salt. Just 3 ingredients, real simple. And then for the tacos, I have my favorite 100% grass-fed beef from Aldi. Super cheap, highly recommend you pick that up. Organic white rice, black beans, an avocado. We have this Irish cheddar cheese from Aldi. These are from grass-fed cows, so really good deal for that in Aldi. And then tomatoes. And then I might throw some cilantro and hot sauce on top of that. So you don't really need a lot, but let's get into it. So to start with the tortillas, I bake these sweet potatoes. I'm gonna toss them in a bowl, mash them up, and then add the all-purpose flour. So once that's all mixed together, we just form these sweet potato dough balls, and then we'll flatten these out and then just toss it over a skillet to heat them up. All right, this has kind of turned into a mess. I underestimated the amount of flour I needed, but I managed to get 4 tortillas. Not the worst thing in the world. While this is finishing, I'm just gonna prepare the rice. Rice is done. I'm moving on to the ground beef. Using beef tallow to cook this in. In the meantime, I'll open up the beans, cut open an avocado. Okay, this meat is just about done. Now I'm gonna add my spices to create the taco seasoning. Keep in mind though, this beef has a ton of flavor, so I'm gonna go really light on the taco seasoning to try and bring out the flavor of the beef as much as possible in this meal. So just a little bit of pepper, some salt, cumin, chili powder, and paprika. And then we'll just mix that together with the little bit of fat that the beef is cooking in. So ton of flavor in this. All right, these are done. Let's plate these tacos finally. So I'm gonna start with one of these janky tortillas. Didn't really pan out. Half of the avocado, beef, rice on the side, some black beans on top, a little bit of tomato, our cheese, and then fresh cilantro. Bam! That's how you do simple tacos with a lot of protein and nutrients and minimal ingredients. These are gonna pack a punch with flavor, so a great way to start things off with the beef. Let's go on to our second dinner. All right, I'm back with another dinner option for ground beef. This one is more of like an Asian ground beef and broccoli with rice recipe. Pretty simple for the most part. Let me run you through it. So the base of the meal is 100% grass-fed beef from Aldi. This is only $5.99 a pound, smoking deal. Get it while you can. Then we have organic white rice. Then I'll throw in a little bit of organic broccoli, kimchi on the side. This is a superfood. And then I like to make a little sauce to go into the ground beef. It's pretty simple for the most part. I do use organic soy sauce. There's a little bit of controversy over whether or not you should use soy sauce, but this isn't terrible. And then I just toss in a little bit of white vinegar, raw honey, and sesame oil. And then essentially just combine this all, toss in a little garlic and ginger, and it tastes amazing. All right, we got our rice going, and now I'm gonna whip up this ground beef using beef tallow like always. While that's going, I've chopped up my garlic and ginger. Now we'll get this broccoli cut up. Okay, that's done, so let's make this sauce real quick. So I'll start off by using just a little bit of the soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, just a splash of the vinegar, and then a squirt of the raw honey. And that's it, really simple. There's not a ton in here. As you can see, maybe a fourth of this bowl. And then we'll just pour that over the ground beef. So this is 93.7 meat, but as you can see, there's almost no fat in this, so you know you're getting a really good quality ground beef. Okay, so with that almost done, I'm gonna slide in my garlic and ginger. Now I'm just gonna slide this broccoli right on top of the ground beef, and then we'll take our sauce and pour that right over top. Pop the lid on to start steaming it. Okay, this is done, looking great. We've steamed it to where all the broccoli is soft, and we're ready to plate. Here we have it, our simple Asian dinner. Very, very easy and quick to whip this up. Takes almost no time. We have a lot of nutrients here, a lot going on, but really only 4 ingredients used aside from that sauce. A lot of flavor going on here, and just a great thing to whip up on a weeknight if you're short on time. So just another idea. Let's move on to the next one. Here is what I'm making for dinner. First, we're starting with ground beef straight from Bradford and his farm. This is 100% grass-fed and finished. It literally does not get any better than this. And then we have organic carrots and organic potatoes. I'm gonna mash these, and we'll put an avocado with this. So literally just 4 ingredients for our meal tonight. There you have it, pretty easy. We have our 100% grass-fed beef, our mashed potatoes. I just used a little butter and Greek yogurt. Our carrots glazed with a little honey and cinnamon. Doesn't get much more simple and whole than that. All right, here we have our plate and half of an avocado. That is the best ground beef you will ever eat. Does not get any more pure than that. Okay, so this is my first chicken recipe. It is perfect for a cold night. It just snowed. I don't really have a name for it. I think maybe it's like Moroccan style chicken with vegetables and an avocado. But essentially, this is the main show. We have chicken thighs, which I'm gonna heavily season with cinnamon, turmeric, cumin, paprika, a lot of different things, and really heavy on the season to give it a lot of flavor. And then I know vegetables have been getting a bad rap recently, but I like eating them. So I just have a butternut squash, some parsnips, carrots, potatoes. I'm gonna throw some of that seasoning on there as well. And then all of this goes onto sheet pans and right into the oven. And then I'm gonna whip up a Greek yogurt sauce, which just goes on top of the chicken, and then I have just an avocado on the side. So to get started, we're just gonna peel and cut up these vegetables. Now in the middle of prepping the vegetables, I'll just preheat this oven to 425. So I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, and then some salt, cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, and just a touch of paprika. And then we'll just mix that. Spread this on its own baking sheet. And we'll toss this in, and then I'll prepare the chicken. Yeah, one more thing. I'm just gonna throw a few raisins on top of these vegetables, just to add a little bit more flavor. All right, now we'll open up this chicken, we'll pat it dry, and then toss it into that same bowl. Same thing with the chicken, just a real small touch of olive oil. You do not need much for this. And then we're gonna season heavily with cinnamon to start, a little bit of cumin, a little coriander, a little bit of paprika, ginger, and turmeric. And then we'll just mix that all together. Now we'll just throw all of these down, and then we'll just throw this in right underneath the vegetables. Smells incredible already. Now I'm gonna make this yogurt sauce. We're just using plain Greek yogurt, garlic, pure lemon juice, and just a splash of vinegar. Almost forgot, olive oil, really important. So that's all it takes to make this real easy. And an added bonus, there's a lot of protein in this as well. All right, this is done. I mean, quite the freaking spread right here. Scoop up some of the vegetables and then a nice piece of the chicken, and we're good to go. All right, here we have the meal. Chicken thigh, our vegetables, half of an avocado, and then our yogurt sauce to go on top. Very simple, a ton of flavor in that chicken with the seasoning, and it tastes so good on a cold night like tonight. So that's our first chicken meal. Let's move on to the second one. All right, I'm back with another chicken dinner idea. Let me get out my ingredients. So this is pretty much it. I'm gonna be doing barbecue chicken the healthy way tonight. So I have chicken here that's been marinating for about 5 hours now in just olive oil and paprika with chili powder. We have some organic zucchini, and then these charro beans from Siete. Clean ingredients. They're a little expensive. I could probably just get my own pinto beans and season them, but I didn't feel like doing that, so we're just going with these. So that's it. 3 things with a lot of spices. I'm gonna go fire up the grill and we'll get going. Now, before I put the chicken on, I'm gonna mention the barbecue sauce I'm using. This was the cleanest one that I could find. There's no natural flavors, no high fructose corn syrup. There is a little bit of sugar, but I'm just gonna paint each side of the chicken with just a little bit of this. So it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things with this meal. All right, there we have our spread. Grilled zucchini, the chicken smelling amazing, and then the beans right here. These taste incredible. So we'll just plate this up. So there you have it. Pretty simple, smells incredible. Healthy barbecue chicken. This is just showing you how easy it is to achieve these meals. You don't need a ton of toppings and all that extra stuff. 3 ingredients, a lot of protein, and very flavorful. So just another idea. Okay, I'm on to my final recipe for this video. I'm cooking fish to switch things up, and I got wild caught salmon. This is the stuff you're gonna wanna buy in the grocery store. Avoid the farm raised stuff that's full of colorants, additives, just a lot of bad stuff. Those fish are not raised properly. This is the real deal, and as you can see, it is really, really orange as compared to the stuff you see in the store. I'm gonna pair this with organic quinoa and organic chickpeas with an avocado on the side. So we got a lot of protein going on right here. Let's jump into this. So to start, I'm gonna prep the chickpeas. Now we'll get our quinoa going. Pretty straightforward to make quinoa. All right, now to start on our salmon, I'm gonna keep this really simple, seasoned with a mix of salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna cook this skin side down in beef tallow. So the reason I'm using beef tallow is so I can go a little bit higher on the heat without damaging the oil. Another thing to keep in mind with wild-caught salmon is you don't want the internal temperature to be as high. So I have my thermometer here. We want it to be right around 115 to 120 when we pull it off of this. So once I'm able to pick this up without it sticking like that, we're ready to flip it. That looks perfect. Now I'm going to take some grass-fed butter, add that with some garlic, and then we'll baste. Okay, this is all done. We're ready to plate. All right, bada bam. That is a meal right there. We got our salmon, quinoa, chickpeas, avocado. We might have saved the best for last. This has so much protein, so much flavor. One of the best things you can eat as a human. Not much more to say. I'm just gonna sit down and enjoy this. All right, had to interrupt. This is the best meal of the whole video. No question about it. Just make this one. Final thing for this video, dessert. As you saw earlier in this video, I used to go crazy with the ice cream, candy, sugar. I have a big sweet tooth, and I still do. But several years ago, I cut all that out and switched over to eating predominantly dark chocolate to end the day on something sweet. So I'll look for 70 to 85% and try to limit the ingredients to mostly organic stuff. So I have this one from Whole Foods. I don't get like Hershey's or any mainstream brands. I try to look for the best I can find in the stores. And then sometimes I'll have some dates. These are incredible. A lot of sugar, but they don't spike your blood sugar nearly as much as some other things. They're very beneficial. And you can do a lot of cool things with dates, like making cakes and a bunch of other sweet things. So these are an awesome way to fill your sweet tooth as well. So that's pretty much it. And with that, that's a wrap on this video. Hopefully you guys were able to get some ideas from this on what you can do to achieve some awesome whole food, clean ingredient meals at home for all 3 meals of the day. It's really not as hard or as expensive as you might expect, like I mentioned earlier, but that kind of gives you a rough idea on how I go about preparing my meals and eating throughout the course of a couple days. Overall, I feel incredible. These meals give me so much energy and allow me to really thrive throughout the day. So I got a lot more content coming covering these topics. So I hope you guys are liking it thus far. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you soon.